Westpac is in the building. We on? Oh, it was wait. It was saying it was waiting on you. Okay. We on?
Hey.
Hey, what's going on, lady?
There he is.
It says it's waiting on you to host to start the Zoom.
Oh, he's doing it.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
How you feel, babe?
I feel good. I'm going to take this mask off because we've been tested and I'm negative. So
yes, they're good negative.
They're good negative. Ain't that a blessing? You want to be negative.
Thing.
You have to be.
Yes,
it's a gift.
Yes.
Bianca Lorena's here and Mr. Alex Moore.
We are in the building.
We're in the building.
So, Detroit, you already know what it is.
Yes.
From 7 Mile to Belle Isle, from Gratiot to Michigan Ave, it's the Music Lounge.
The Music Lounge, WJZZ.
And we're live in the building, WJZZ.
Cool TV.
That's what it is.
That's what it is, always. Yes.
It's that good Wednesday.
It's that good hump day.
It's that good hump day.
Yeah, we made
Dr.
it up.
McNichols is already on. I see you, Doc.
Hey, Doc.
How you feeling, Doc? I'm doing really good. We getting all this, make sure this sound and everything is together for you. And but yeah, I'm doing great, Doc. I can't complain. You know, we just getting things together, and you know, so much has been going on, and everybody's trying to get through this pandemic and the different stages that are going on. But one thing we notice is that life ain't stopped, has it? You know, it's still going, and we're just trying to hang in there and just keep it pushing. And it's one of those things where, you know, all we can do is just, you know, keep our faith and keep prayerful and all that good stuff. And, you know, hopefully God will just continue to keep us and bless us and all that good stuff. So we just, you know, but it's good to have you. For those of you that don't know, this is Dr. Marlon McNichols, one of the forthright men in the industry, from management to running some of the top record labels in the business, management, marketing, breaking artist, record label owner, all of that great stuff. He's what we call a power broker. And it's good to have you, Doc. How you feeling?
Man, I'm feeling real good. How are you doing? And
I can't
everything
complain.
good on my end. Wonderful.
That's good. That's good. How's the weather down there in Atlanta?
Man, it's probably colder in Atlanta than it is in Detroit. So
You think so?
it's cold, man. It's cold.
Man, it's
Yeah, it's freezing.
it's freezing.
Yeah, freezing.
You know, it's one of those things where we just hanging in there. We're just so glad to have you with us, Doc. You know, we just really are. And uh, William Middlebrooks is going to be back with us shortly, and he's coming on. And the great thing is, this is part 2 of where we started last week, and we were dealing with the different elements of the industry. And one of the things about the Music Lounge is that we want to give information. We want people to understand what's going on here. We want them to understand and know how to operate in this industry. So many people get in here and they find out, Bianca, this is not what I signed up for.
Yeah.
You know, and they have a preconceived notion of what they think it is. Mm-hmm. Doc, what is the biggest misnomer that people have when you first meet them and they're saying they want to be in this industry?
Yeah, lots of misconception.
Hold on,
So you're talking, Doc. If you can hear me, you're talking, but we can't hear you. So give us 1 second.
Yep, we're gonna get this right, because I've got to have this right, because and I just saw William Middlebrooks has come on, and Will is with us. Do me a favor, Roger, and let me in the meeting. But you know, it's a great feeling to be a part of this industry. But the thing about it is, in this industry, you've got to have a thick layer of skin. This is not something easy to do. Hold on 1 second, Doc.
Turn on your guest on your phone. You turned it off.
Did I?
Yeah.
Okay, hold
It's
on.
okay. We can get it. Yeah, turn it back on.
Mm-hmm.
So what you'll do, go back to the link.
Right, I'm going back to the link.
Yeah.
And we're going to do this because, okay. Bingo. Okay, join with video.
Yeah, the studio heard them talking, but
Right,
they
it's
didn't hear you
not
talking.
it's not giving me anything.
It's not giving you anything.
It's
Let
not
me
giving.
see your phone.
You sure can.
Okay. I'm gonna help my my host. Let's see.
Yeah, help me.
Let's see if we can make
Help
this
me,
work.
somebody, help me, because this is nothing but the devil.
He's
So-
a liar.
Yeah. So here, go ahead and set me up, Bianca.
Okay, so let's see what's happening here. Let me go
Right.
into Zoom. All right.
I'm trying to make sure that's the one that you sent me.
Join with video. Please wait. The meeting host will let you in soon.
Right, that's what I've been waiting on. And I was
So
waiting.
Roger, go ahead and let him in. So don't touch
See,
anything.
I was right. I was waiting.
So that's where you were.
That's where I was.
Oh, so yeah, so Roger, yeah, because it says Zoom user Morris
Yeah.
entered the waiting room. He's waiting.
Yeah, I'm waiting on
to
Roger.
be admitted. So
I'm waiting on
press
Roger to admit me.
Press the admit button.
I can't. You have to press the admit button. Roger's,
I'm gonna help.
Roger's waving Bianca in. But first of all, we want to thank Roger Penzabany, who is the general manager of WJZZ, Cool TV, WDDS, Detroit's Dirtiest TV, also WJZZ. He's the, I got you now, Doc. He is the proprietor, and we're so thankful for him because Doc and Will, he is setting a platform for the city and bringing people together from all different backgrounds and walks that have something to say and want to share. And so we are so thankful that he gave us the opportunity to be a part. So, Doc, I was asking you this question. To you, what is the biggest misnomer that you hear or that from people when it comes to what they think this industry is, and the thing that wakes them up when they realize that this ain't it.
Well, I believe you know artists and writers and folk, they have dreams and aspirations,
Right.
and they don't know how tough it really is. You know,
Right.
once you get in, it doesn't make it any easier.
Right.
And then
Right.
once you get in, the requirements to stay in
Mm-hmm.
and to function inside the industry, they get a real awakening that this is not just something that not all glamorous,
Right.
and not
Right.
all glory. You have to work, and a lot of folks just think that when they see an artist that's successful, that was an easy road to get there.
Right.
And so, but once they get inside, and have to start doing the work that requires for them to stay there.
Mm-hmm.
Then they realize what it really is all about.
Right. How about you, Will? What do you feel is like one of the biggest misconceptions of the industry?
I think most people think as soon as they sign a deal, you know, the record's gonna just blow up.
Right.
They're gonna make all this money. And more importantly, similar to athletes, they think it'll never end. and especially when they have a successful first project.
Right.
They really think it's never gonna end. And they have no idea the level of detail and how you have to, as with anything, you have to continue to get better. You have to continue to go to another level.
Right.
And I think that's probably the biggest challenge for a lot of people.
Okay, Bianca. Bianca is, you all know, is my wonderful co-host, and she does some of everything around here. She keeps me together, makes sure I'm good.
Thank you, Alex.
But also school teacher and all that. But Bianca is a phenomenal singer and artist in her own right.
Thank you.
And when we met with her in the process of working on demos projects, and we would have conversations. Bianca, from a person that has the aspirations to go into this, like, what is something that has baffled you in this industry from your perspective that these two men can answer?
What's baffled me is the approach of some of the studio producers. Like, sometimes they would expect you to do certain songs and do it in a certain way, and then expect you to make all this money off of the song, and then they come after you like, oh, I'm going to manage you, I'm going to do this, I want you, and I need you to do this. So you feel like this pressure.
Right.
And the pressure is usually the baffling part. Like, you don't expect that. And
right.
so, too, also, like, how to get into the industry, like, what's exactly expected. And that's one of the things that I've been concerned with. Like, what's truly expected of me, and is somebody going to hound me once I'm in it? You know what I'm saying?
I'm going to start with you, Will. Can you answer that? She if you heard the question, the question that she asked is, how do you get in the industry? And once you're in the industry, is she going to be hounded? What is the true expectation of her being a woman coming into this industry
and being under, specific management? I think
right, and being under specific management.
Yeah.
Well, it's going in and out. Hopefully, I'm understanding.
Can you hear now?
Question. I think if you're asking what the expectation from an artist perspective is relative to a record company, management, etc.
Yeah.
Right.
It's really that you're gonna work.
Right. Got you. Right. But I tell you, man, Doc, what do you think is, because it's different, Will, to me, from what I've witnessed. There's a different dynamic between a female artist and a male artist in some regards. Sometimes coming into the industry, they want the woman to be compromised. You follow what I'm saying? And we
Oh
talk
yeah,
very,
yeah.
very
Okay, I
candid
see
here.
what you're doing.
Yeah, like the producers. That's what I was kind of like saying, because a lot of times you get in the studio and then you're cutting this record, and then here studio producer is
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, now I want you to do this for me in order for you to get to make this money, or to go
Right.
viral, or to just be successful. We're like compromising our standards in order to
Right.
be heard in our songs. So
Right.
it's like that baffled me when I was introduced to the music industry, and then hearing that that's some of the things that some artists go through, like they have to like bow down in a certain way in order to be successful.
Right. What do you think, Doc? What is your point of view on that? Is there a double standard when it comes to what the expectation is when it comes to women in the industry versus what it comes to men in the industry? Is there a double standard to you?
We lost the audio.
Can you hear us now?
The question. We lost the audio. We lost the question that you were asking.
Okay, what I was asking you was, uh, what is there a double standard to you when it comes to a male artist versus a female artist and what is expected of them?
Okay. Uh, and coming into the industry.
Right.
Okay. Oh, well,
I
it's.
get his question.
Oh, sorry, Willie.
No, I now understand the question. I
Like,
mean, I don't know the audience for this show.
no, you can
Oh
say
no,
what you
you
want
can
to say,
say.
Doc.
Oh yeah, you're open.
Okay,
You're
well,
free
I'm
and
gonna tell
open
you,
to
there's
say.
not a double standard.
All
We
right.
have a sex demon in this industry.
Right.
Alcohol, drugs, that whole thing. So from homosexuality all the way down. So
Right.
there are guys who are asked to compromise themselves in that manner, no different than some women are asked to compromise themselves. So I
Right.
would not say that there's a double standard. What I say
Okay.
is probably more frequent with women than men, possibly, as a heterosexual male. That's all I can tell you. Um, but I wouldn't say there's a double standard. Doc, what do you think?
Well, you know something, Will. I jumped in there right with you on there. I I think the compromising factor uh, could be the same as according who you're dealing with in the industry, according to what
Mm-hmm.
uh, the producer, which way they roll, or the record executive,
Right.
or that you're coming through. And what happens is that uh, if it's a male, and you're dealing with an executive that's on that side of the fence,
Right.
well, you're compromising. Or on the other side, as a female coming into the industry, you have challenges at the same. So I'm kind of a Will. It's not really a separation, uh, and I think it's more of what uh, executive or whatever producer you're coming in, whatever they think is their strengths
Mm-hmm.
over you, or male or female, and is how bad you want it. I mean, that's all over the industry. So I don't even think it's compromising one way or the other too far,
Right.
where it's between male and female.
So how do you
Because I
know?
hear situations, I hear stories, in it's according to who you're getting them from, what store you get them from.
Yeah.
What was you getting ready to say, Bianca?
How do you know you're dealing with the the right record label? How do you know you're dealing with the best? Somebody that's integral, someone that's going to do you right, someone that's going to put you out there the way you need to be put out there. What's the like? What's the resume like? Star point that tells, okay, this is the best person for you.
I don't think there's a resume. I think it comes down to this is why I'm big on representation and having the right representation. That's the closest you can get to that, because now you need somebody who can go in and understand what's going on with the label at that time.
Right.
And again, the industry has changed over the years, but I can tell you, historically, there were artists who were signed, and the purpose was really to push you. You were a priority at the label, and that type of thing. But record labels are also businesses; they need write-offs. So there were more artists who were signed who the intent was to shelf that record. So
Right.
they'll give you a budget. They'll tell the producer, hey, give them a B or C level joint because we're not going to push the record. And then they sit on it. So it depends on where the company is at that time, kind of where your project is. Is it already hot in the streets or do they got to do it from scratch? So there's a number of things that factor into that.
Wow.
Doc probably has a good answer for that as well.
That was
Right.
good.
I mean, well, you're right on. It's kind of, it's not a, it, 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 it's sometimes uh, you have to kind of know the label's uh, artists that they got signed on their label in relation to your music.
Mm-hmm.
Because see, different labels, their label is brand on different sounds, on
Right.
their own sound maybe, you know.
Right.
And what happens is that if you're going into to a label, your representative got to know and understand how the industry works and how to guide you into the industry or to that label. Because just like Will says, I've read into cases where I've had a hot record that was smoking and it was right on top of that artist that's already signed to that label, and they wanted to sign my artist to shelve it, to take the competition out the game. So that's when you got to have a management that to navigate the artist through this because that's a whole nother level of experience
Right.
that the artists haven't had to encounter yet. Because the artist is on the creative side, but then dealing with the label and then dealing with label priority. Label's priority is what they are, and once they get on a priority release, no matter how hot your record is, they're not going to deviate from that priority. And that's
Right.
just like when I was at Atlantic Records, we released 20 albums at one time. And
Wow.
what we call it is that we throw them against the wall and
See what
whichever one
sticks.
Wow. Well,
Okay,
here you
wait a
go.
minute.
Let's take
let
a
me-
lucky shot.
Okay. Let me give our wonderful station ID. You're watching WJZZ.
Cool TV.
You already know what it is.
The Music Lounge.
The Music Lounge. Yes.
Yes.
All right. You hear guys talking, right? And when they sign their deal, they think they got a bonus, but what they actually got was an advance. And many times, artists don't know the difference between what's a bonus and what's an advance. You follow what I'm saying? They'll accept $500,000, Bianca, or Will or Doc. They'll accept $1 million up front, and when they accept it, they're thinking they got a bonus, but it's just worded under the term advance. Where did they mess up, and what is the difference?
Not understanding the word recoup or recoupable. So I don't care how they term it. What you're looking for in the agreement is it recoupable?
Right.
Because if it's recoupable, I don't care whether they call it a bonus or an advance. They're going to take that out of sales.
Explain recoupment.
So,
what does recoupment mean?
Recoupment means I invested X amount of dollars into your project, and before you're going to get paid, I'm going to recover all of those costs, real and manufactured. So,
right.
So that's how it works. So
Wow.
I'll give you, $500,000 advance. We're going to pay for your studio, your promo tour, all your marketing costs. et cetera, et cetera. Well, all that money I spend, I'm gonna get back first. And keeping in mind, I'm also collecting the money. So when we're selling the unit or today they're streaming, I'm collecting. And then once I get paid back, now you get into the royalty piece.
Right. Doc?
Ooh, that's deep.
Yeah, Will. Once again, Will was right on with what he's saying, and also see, once again, that's the reason why artists got to have representation.
Right.
And when it said representation, it doesn't mean that your cousin is your manager. You have to have someone
You need somebody a little
that
bit more
understands
advanced.
the record industry because
Right.
everything is a negotiation.
Right.
Yeah.
Everything is how you negotiate the recoupment. Now, the record industry is no different than the bank.
Right.
At a bank, if you borrow money,
You got to pay it back.
You got to pay it back.
money back.
And doesn't that come with interest?
And that comes with interest. But see, but this was the beauty of our industry, though. That in the recoupment is that the recoupment starts right away. Right away, when you start earning money, but it's no interest on it. And
Right.
so what happens? But what happens is that you can move from one recoupment to the next event, which is a recoupment, and they can all pile up on each other, and you can sell a million records and don't make no money.
Right.
That's realistically, but in our industry is that that is no interest that on the payback like a house, but it's still a loan to the artist or advance to the artist, and recoupment is how the record label get their money back to continue running their business, but it's all in the negotiation. Because in my case, I will always be the one. Give me all the money you want to give me, and you catch
Right.
up with me.
Right.
And especially in how today's record business is going with streaming, you better get all the upfront money you can way up in front because the calculations in making money is really very slim.
Okay, I got two questions. I'm gonna ask the first one. The first question is this, and because you all are ping pong with each other, so I'm gonna start again with you, Will. What are the two type of masters, and what position do they play?
The two type of masters. Are you referring to the intellectual
To the
property,
intellect, yes.
the actual recording?
Yes.
Okay. So the first is the SR copyright.
Right.
It's the sound recording copyright. This is a copyright that the record company files.
Right.
And it's a collection, obviously, of songs. Now, prior to that, you're filing your PA copyright, which is the individual songs, and that's the publisher's side of the deal. So they're not necessarily masters per se. I mean, they're copyrights.
Copyrights, rather.
Those
Yeah.
are the two different types are done. So what also can happen is obviously from a publishing standpoint, my song can be on album A, but I can take that same song, record it on a completely different artist on a completely different album, and monetize in multiple ways. Whereas the actual SR copyright for a particular album, that's static. So that's one record. And that record company cannot just take that record and even put it on another album without first going to the publishers to get permission.
Right.
So those are the two different types of copyrights.
All right. Now, Doc, I'm going to ask you this question. Because I noticed this a lot of times coming into the industry. If you got a person that's a good writer, you got an artist that can sing, but they can write also, and so forth and such. A lot of times coming out the gate, the first thing that is offered to them is a publishing deal. And when I was with Will taught me several things. A publishing deal can either save your life or be the devil. In most cases, it's the devil.
Oh my goodness!
Explain that
Please
for me, Doc.
explain that.
Because
We don't
everybody
want
wants,
any
like,
demons.
folks come in and they'll jump at this publishing deal, not knowing the difference between a term and a year.
Yeah.
And then when that happens, they go from that to not understanding that they get this one lump sum of money and they have a hit song. And they think because that one hit song covers their debt. But you still have percentages to still meet. Explain that, Doc.
Okay. I need, first of all, if in ours got to go back to open up representation.
Mm-hmm.
When you first get offered a publishing deal and you haven't got no track record, it's nothing for you to sign. I mean, you haven't got no leverage
Right.
of leveraging anything, and so the demands in that publishing deal, where they say that you have to your song got to be placed on artist X, but artist X got to be a major release.
Okay.
A major release. So what happens is that you haven't really got a leverage. Then they give you a ridiculous low advance because you haven't got a track record to get a nice advance. But then they sign you to a year with several options. In those options, you never a writer hardly ever meets those options because they haven't got a track record for the publisher to get them some placements.
Right.
For their songs, and so what happens is that they never get to off square one in the whole deal.
Right. Where you at with that, Will?
Yeah, Doc's right on point. I mean, you have what's called it's a placement release requirement. So it's not just that you place the song on the artist, it's got to be released, it's got to be on a major record label. Now, when they give you the song count, let's say it's a 5-song deal, that means 5 100% songs.
So that means you're not just doing the track or doing the lyrics. You're doing both sides.
So now, exactly. So if you're a lyric and melody person, for example,
like me,
you only end up with 50% of a song, maybe 25% of a song.
Right.
That could end up meaning 10 to 20 songs.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just to get out of that term.
Yeah.
So it's that's why I never saw publishing deals as a great situation unless a guy was like really in financial trouble and they didn't have anything to lose at that point. But the reality becomes publishing deals, I don't see them they definitely are not writer-artist friendly.
right.
I'll put it that way.
I remember, Doc, when I came into the industry, like I said, I was blessed, Bianca, that I've had these two men manage my career.
Yeah.
But Will told me something, and I'm thankful for it. He said, if you've been able to keep a roof over your head,
Okay.
food in your belly,
Yep.
and some way to get around, if you've been able to do that, you don't need to do a publishing deal.
Why?
Because if I'm already stable, I'm selling my future. Publishing is to a writer what a 401k is to a person who's been in the factory for 40 years. So,
It's something to lean
so
on.
that means that's my retirement.
Yes.
Those songs are my retirement. If I've leveraged them in the beginning of my career, that I'm in debt and I never get to retain them back, then it doesn't just come back to me. It can be possible where you have like catalogs go up for sale all the time, and somebody else buys your catalog, and that means they just bought you. Could you imagine working, with the school district the way you do, and you guys got your 401k, and you leverage your 401k in the beginning, and then right when you think you're gonna be okay and get it back, then somebody comes and buys your retirement.
Right, and it's like, oh my God, what just happened to me? No balance, nothing to,
Right, nothing.
lean
You're
on,
nothing to lean on. You're done.
Done.
You literally just sold your future. And he told me, he said, if you can take care of yourself, if you got a roof over your head, you're able to put food on the table, and you've been able to sustain yourself, you can wait that term till publishing starts to pay out.
Got it.
And I think that was one of the smartest things. Let me ask you something, Doc. What is the biggest and most drastic change in the artist relations with the label of Motown when you were there, and the relationship between the artist and the label today?
Okay, I'm gonna answer that in this regards, and it might be a little shocking to some folks to hear this, but it's reality. So Motown back in the beginning, that was more like a close knit. Everybody knew each other.
Right.
In the at the label, and everybody was was friendly, and it ran a lot different than Atlantic Records.
Okay.
And we had you had your artist development. You had everybody knowing each other, and then see when you compare labels to hit record companies to labels. See, Motown was a hot label. There wasn't, and when they're at their hottest, Motown only controlled 1 or 2% of the whole market share at their hottest.
Wow.
So it's a big difference between a Sony and a Motown or a Sony and a Stax. See, so those are the smaller companies, or a smaller independent company. You got a different camaraderie, and you got a different way that you interact. And the major labels is all business. It's all business, and it's all priorities, and it's all who's high.
Doc, I want you to share this with them. We were talking one day, and we were talking about Herb Alpert, and I believe it was GRP
Good.
versus Motown. What did GRP sell for, and what did Motown sell for? Because I was blew out the water, because I would imagine that Motown would have been. But Doc, explain that to me.
Okay, that's what we're talking about. Is what a hot label.
Right.
And Motown was a hot label, and so with that hot label, they only controlled about 2% of the market share at their hottest, and there was a singles company. They didn't sell. They were a singles company and didn't sell albums. Okay, A&M Records, that was a whole different story. Now A&M Records, what you call a major, and they had several genres of artists on their label.
Right.
And then when A&M sold, they sold for $600 million. Now, when Motown sold as a record label, they sold for $60 million.
Did you say that one more time, Doc? Did you hear that, Bianca?
Yeah. So is it because of the different genres that made it, more lucrative?
They were more diversified out.
That's what it is. Got it.
They're diversified out. They had more product out in the market, in different genres, and so if they wasn't clicking as one genre, they probably had something clicking somewhere else.
Exactly.
And the difference then at Motown, like I said, they was a hot singles company.
Exactly.
And then also, like at Motown, Joe Beck sold for probably 400 million. So the publishing company sold for almost 5 times more than the record label sold for.
Right.
Hey, Will, let me ask
the
you
difference in the value of those copyrights.
right there.
About PA versus SR. Yeah.
Let me ask you something, Will. And we see this all the time. Guys will do a record deal, and they'll get a label, and da 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 da. But there's a difference between an all-out label and an imprint. What's the difference,
Right.
Will? Because you have guys out that are, oh, we got our own record label. No, there's a difference between an imprint.
No. What I would call it today, in today's terminology, is it's branding.
Yeah.
What they've done is allowed you to have branding, but you're not a genuine record label in that sense.
Right.
Probably in the 90s into the early 2000s, they called them production deals. It was generally centered around a hot producer who, they were clicking. Radio was loving them, so anything that came from that producer was getting added. So they would do that. Again, it was branding. It was an easier way to move your product into rotation. At the radio side, on the distribution side, it was easier to get shelf space because again, remember in the old days, now you're competing for shelf space, and everybody can't have as many pieces of product on the shelf. So that's what made those deals make sense, but they were never truly labels.
Okay, let me ask you this, and I pay homage to all of those that have made the way for us, even in this generation now. I think that Sean Puffy Combs, Diddy, I think that he is a mastermind when it comes to marketing and branding. I think the man's a genius.
Definitely.
And hats off to you, Diddy,
Yes.
bro.
Yes, we love
And
you, Diddy.
Then there's Master P, and there's Luke Skywalker. What's the difference between No Limit and Bad Boy? Will?
The finance. I mean, Master P was spending his own money all the way down.
Okay.
He wasn't taking money from or seeking out those type of advances. He
Okay.
was making his records hot in the street before they ever got in the system.
So what was the difference in that deal that Master P got label, that's a bona fide label with ownership of its masters and copyrights versus Bad Boy? And I love Bad Boy.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with Bad Boy, but again, it was more of a production entity that was operating within side of a record company, whereas Master P, he had a record store, was moving product through the record store. He was moving it in the streets, out of people's cars. He had his basic own distribution, if you will.
Right.
So, I mean, he was doing all aspects in the sense of how he promoted his product, how he marketed his product, and how he sold his product, if I'm making sense. Versus Puffy, he was just in the system. He got blessed. They put him in the system, but it's not a label in that sense. It's more of a production deal and that type of thing.
So Doc, let me ask you.
Sense.
Yo, you make a lot of sense. So Doc, let me ask you this question. I've read and I've seen, Bianca, where they said a deal like that ain't gonna never happen again because Master P caught the industry off guard. Doc, how does an independent today manifest that element that Master P was able to do in this fully digital era, and with the knowledge that the record company has of the ability to move records in the streets?
And distribute, yeah.
Well, in today's time and how the record industry is working, Master P's and what they did would happen. Okay, not on the big not on the major level because we haven't got stores, and we're not moving vinyl,
Right.
like he could back then, but you can still be successful. Let me just jump on right on the end of what Will said. One difference between what made Master P different than Puffy, Master P was the manufacturer. So that
Got
made
it.
made him the true record company
Right.
because he manufactured and sold his product.
Right.
So he did the things that the record labels do. Okay, in Puffy's situation is that it's those deals are just really a hot production deals, and they call them label deals. But they're all of them were production deals, really.
Right.
But to make to for the producers' benefit, they can call them record deals.
Right.
So you have an own label, but they never functioned inside the industry as a record label. They handed product in to the record label, and that was it. Then they had no say so over anything else. Now they come into the marketing meeting, and they can come into the marketing meeting with plans and ideas,
Right.
ideas how to move, of their own, and so the record company just incorporated those ideas in with their marketing plan. Because the
Gotcha.
record company, at the end of the day, really has a marketing plan, how to move and how to push the record.
Yeah,
the
executing.
record.
Yeah.
And with those deals, if see, and I might be going somewhere else than the question you asked me, the record labels, majors, they really don't want those kind of deals.
Right.
Correct.
They don't. That's the reason why it was always the big three at one time: Sony, RCA, and Warner's, and so they never. And even today's time, they don't want to give out those kind of deals, but they give out those deals to lock the producers in to get more of the market share. So
Right.
they don't really want to do label deals.
All right, we got 4 minutes. Will, give our audience something. Give me 1 minute and give them something that will help sustain them and help push them into this next move of the music industry.
Yeah, in today's music industry, my biggest suggestion to people is to really stay as independent as possible, spend your own money, push your own product, and stay as independent as long as you can. While doing so, you want to use your music as a loss leader, meaning don't expect to make money on the music. That just gets your brand out, promotion. Focus on your publishing, focus on your live performance, focus on your merchandising, focus on the things that are what I call non-digitizable.
Right.
Because as long as it can't be digitized, it's very difficult, not impossible, but very difficult for people to steal your intellectual properties. And it minimizes your legal fees in terms of chasing people
To get
who
your money.
are infringing upon your rights. So if I could leave people with anything, it would be that.
Give me 1 minute, Doc. What you want to leave with them?
Okay, I'll just jump on where Will was at, and what I would suggest. That's the reason why in social media, what they always talk about artists building their fan base.
Right.
And building your fan base. You build your fan base beyond the record. You build your fan base in order to be able to sell merchandise and other things you come up with. And the record is a loose leader. Now it's not like it used to be. And with all of the streaming and the digital, when you try to fight those cases, in most cases, if you're even right, you're gonna spend all your money in legal fees anyway to prove that you're right. And so your legal fees could outrun what you're gonna make anyway. So be independent, build work on your social media, build your own niche, because if you sell 50,000 records on your own and get all the money, you're gonna make more than if you sold 1,000,000 with a record label.
Wow.
Got you.
Excellent.
What you think, Bianca?
You guys are like geniuses.
These are the gurus. This is
you
why
are definitely the gurus.
these are the what I call power brokers.
Yes.
I want to thank Dr. Marlon McNichols. I want to thank William Middlebrooks. Dr. McNichols is in Atlanta. Angel Dove Global Media. William Middlebrooks, the Middlebrooks Way in Los Angeles. And we're here in Detroit at the Music Lounge on WJZZ Cool TV.
Thank you.
We love y'all. We'll
you.
see y'all next week.
Thank you so much.
Take care. Roger, you know you my man, Doc.
Both